Kia ora, everyone. The multinational corporation has been and continues to be the central unit of analysis in international business research. There are about 60,000 multinationals in the world. A multinational corporation is a firm that operates across borders. So it is headquartered in a nation, but it has foreign operations out there in subsidiaries in multiple foreign locations. There is a long history about the multinational in business history. What is important to pay attention to is that the multinational corporation is associated with massive financial health and corporate power. In fact, multinationals can actually also exercise quite significant political influence. The largest multinational nowadays globally is Microsoft. In New Zealand, it is Fonterra. These 60,000 multinationals have about 500,000 subsidiaries that are scattered around the world. Now, how the multinational is staffed is quite a complex and complicated matter. But just for today, for the purposes of some simplicity, let us focus on two key groups of employees within the multinational corporation. The first are the expatriates. These are managers or experts who are sent by the headquarters to a subsidiary somewhere in the world on an international assignment that typically takes between 1 and 3 years. The other key group are the local employees. In international business research, we call them host country nationals, HCNs. Now, it is important to emphasize that HCNs are actually constituting the vast majority of the works of the multinational, just above 80% globally. And of course, there is some variation in this particular number across industries. HCNs are the ones that are really heavily involved in actually generating the wealth of the multinational. So far, so good. And here is the problem. For more than 6 decades, international business scholars have been preoccupied with studying the minority of the multinational, the expatriates. So we have been glorifying, the hero of the multinational, the expat. So for every 50 articles on expatriates, there is just one on HCNs. This is a problem, right? I hope you agree with me. There is a kind of a serious discrepancy, quite a divide, and quite a substantial research gap. So one way probably to start understanding HCNs a bit better is to dispel the myths that surround them. There are many out there, and they are quite widespread. They are also quite persistent. So I will just alert you to 3 of those. HCNs have been and continue to be assumed to be all the same. So we have quite elaborated and sophisticated classifications of expatriates. But when it comes to HCNs, they are just assumed to be the locals. Quite some research, including my own, has tried really to dispel that particular myth. HCNs do differ substantially. They are quite different in terms of whether they have had prior international experience. They differ in regards to whether they actually interact with expats or not. They differ in terms of their language skills, and quite importantly also in terms of their allegiances. 2, HCNs can't wait to welcome and work with expats. Not really. HCNs have seen many expats come and go with quite a varying kind of degree of competence, expertise, and success. So when they are somewhat indifferent or skeptical or fatigued, and sometimes even resentful, that should not come as such a huge surprise. HCNs are mere recipients of the expats' knowledge. Now, this can't be further away from the truth. In fact, it is HCNs, it is the locals who possess extremely valuable knowledge that the multinational needs in order to operate well in a foreign location. So why would we assume and continue to believe that it is the expats who are the ones who have the knowledge and who transfer the knowledge? Right? And let's not forget that the multinational very often invests overseas and establishes foreign subsidiaries exactly in order to get access to the local insights that are not available at the headquarters. So why are these myths and many others problematic? I argue that they are problematic on many dimensions and for several reasons. So if we continue to kind of believe in those, we actually risk quite seriously that the interaction between expats and HCNs will not be a productive one. In fact, it will result in tensions, sometimes actually conflicts, and those will negatively affect both the productivity, the work life, but also the general well-being of both camps, of both HCNs and expats. Also, if we continue to believe in that myth, we also risk that there will be less knowledge exchange, there will be less learning, there will be less innovation, and instead there will be more knowledge-sharing hostility and other counterproductive attitudes and behaviors. So, what I have been trying to do is actually to try to address, to the best of my abilities, at least some of the existing gap. So my contributions so far have been related to knowledge flows across borders, knowledge-sharing behaviors, also HCN's cultural adjustment, HCN's interaction adjustment, HCN's cultural intelligence. And I'm pleased to realize that we are not such a small minority any longer within international business scholarship, and so there is more interest starting to kind of gain momentum. So there are more scholars around the world who finally warm up to the idea that we need to bring some balance in the picture and start actually studying much more HCNs as quite valuable members of the multinational. And let's also finally probably pay attention to the fact that with globalization changing face quite rapidly due to several external factors, be that pandemics, be that environmental challenges, geopolitical tensions and conflicts, we can only see that the importance of HCNs will only increase in the future. And so I do intend to kind of continue pursuing that particular line of inquiry as one of the streams in my research program. Thank you.